Ah, you have come. Please, come in. So, you chose to come to me. That makes me ever so happy. I get no visitors anymore. Everyone's everyone I want to talk to, everyone I once had fun with had run away from me, had forgotten about me. It's been years since I last saw any form of life come before me once again. And now I see you. I am excited, ecstatic, happy to make your acquaintance. Oh no, please do not go. I simply just want to chat. I want to share with you a true story that had occurred within my life. You don't mind, do you? Of course not. After all, it's not like you have anywhere to go now, do you? It is only but a little story. A story that is best suited for this very day. It's the anniversary, to be honest, of a boy. A boy that was lost years ago. It was years ago. There was a boy that had gotten a gift from his mother. The gift to him was a voice recorder. It would be used to relieve the boy of any negative thoughts on his mind, the loss of friends, the fears he feels during school, the horror he has for his own family, all these things and more. He turned on the recorder and talked into it. He stated how the things that had happened to him were saddening, how sad it was to lose those that were precious to him. One friend leaving him due to misunderstandings, another gone for caring only for herself, and the one who would usually be there for him during these negative mindsets, telling him to back off. It hurt him. It made him feel burdened, regret. Maybe he should have kept his mouth shut. Maybe he should have hidden how he truly felt, made a facade to ease the pain he had, and told to those who matter. Maybe then he would have gotten ahead. Maybe then he could have gone ahead and heard them again. He could have played with them again, no matter how much it hurt him. But he knew that if he did that, he'd only be hurting himself. But nobody else would care. What was there for him to do? What was there for him to say? The more he talked within the recorder, the more he got off his chest. It got late, so he finally stopped. He got tired, set himself up for bed, and the thoughts still crawled within his mind. He closed his eyes, trying to fall asleep as fast as he could, just to end the day, just to end his suffering, his lonely, forgotten suffering. That very night, though, the boy heard creaking within his house. The sounds of the floorboards just quaked, like someone was walking down his hallway. It wasn't his mother. She was fast asleep. Knowing how much of a heavy sleeper she wasn't awake. He got himself up and locked the door. He went into his closet and hid within there, hoping that whatever he heard, it would never bust in. Could it have been a thief? Maybe a serial killer? He didn't know. He couldn't check. He leaned his head against the wall and listened through it. He heard the knob on the door turning. Sounds kept creeping up closer. The door was locked, so there was no entry either way. The knob made sounds like someone was trying to force themselves in. The boy kept trying to stay calm. Usually, making such noises would wake somebody up, but nobody would awaken. It was just him. The knob stopped jerking, and the sound went away after some time. The boy stayed inside of his closet just in case. He didn't want to jump out just yet, not knowing whether the person was still out there or not. So for the next couple of minutes, he stayed within the closet and didn't come out until he was certain. He fell asleep, hoping that what he felt was coming for him would be gone the next day. On the next following day, the boy had came home from his night classes at college, only to lay flat down on the bed, exhausted. Today he experienced some troubles with his childhood friend that he had known since middle school. Her name was Penelope. She was a sweet, gentle girl, but she had been mistreated as she grew older. He was her only saving grace, and she was his light to his darkness. He was still shaken by what had transpired last night, and hoped that whatever happened would not happen again. He expressed deep concern for his friend. Though they had grown older, she would tend to ignore him. He just wanted for her to notice him more, to show more appreciation for him. The things that he had done for her, especially during times where she felt that she wanted to kill herself. These emotions were swelling up within him. He never asked for much, but the second he started to feel tired, there was a weird feeling looming over his shoulders. It was as if he was being watched by somebody. He walked over to the door and opened it slightly. Looking up and looking out into the dark hallway, he didn't see anything. The boy slowly closed the door and turned himself around. But as he turned around, he saw an eye looking in on him from his window. The curtain didn't cover the entire window all the way, so someone could always look in from the corner of the window. The problem though was that this window was over a downward staircase, so nobody would be able to look in even if they wanted to. There was no way to climb up to it, too. The railing was way off from the window itself. How was it possible for someone to peek inside? The boy tried to move, but every step he took, the eye would follow him. It was white and hollow. The side of it could easily be made out from the rest of the darkness that shrouded it. The boy hid behind the curtain and took his blanket from his bed. But at that moment when he tried to move, he heard a voice whisper to him, saying,
"Come back. Please. Come back."
The room started to get colder. Not knowing whether the eye was still looking or not, the boy went back into his closet and locked himself within it. He could hear sounds from outside. A sound as if it were coming from the window. He never touched his windows, so he never knew whether they were open or locked. But he heard a girl. A young girl, by the voice. of her crying. The crying echoed in this room. The boy's breathing started to get heavy. He covered his face just so he wouldn't be able to see what was coming towards him. Just to stop him from looking if whatever was out there came in. Quickly as the sounds were still rumbling off, he soon fell asleep. As exhausted as he was from night classes, combined with how fearful he felt and his heavy breathing, the sleep took over him fast and knocked him out. When he came back to, he heard birds chirping from outside. He slowly unlocked the door and peeked outside. Then finally, after seeing nothing for a bit, he came out of the closet and looked around. Nothing was out of place. Nothing was out of order. His whole body was shivering, his heart jumping a mile a minute. As he took a step outside of his room, he noticed that his parents were not home. They were probably outside, or probably out shopping. Nevertheless, he did one thing that would let him feel less frightened. He went to the dining room and turned on the television, making sure the volume was loud enough to make him feel like he wasn't alone in the house, just so he wouldn't feel afraid. The boy was now in a comfortable state of mind. But when he turned his back towards the TV, heading back to his room, he noticed a shadow moving at the wall. Slowly, he approached his room and hesitantly entered. He couldn't find a thing. There was nothing in his room that caused any sudden movements. He was fearful the night before and frightened last night. He felt that whatever it was that he saw, whatever it was that was the shadow, and what came for him the past 2 nights, would probably come back for him later tonight. Nighttime had fallen on the 3rd night. The boy was cold, nervous. He looked outside and saw nothing but darkness. He looked out in the hallway. There was nothing but light. The mother was out. She had gone to a funeral for her coworker, leaving the poor boy home alone. He tried to stay strong. He tried to hold for himself. The only thing he could think of to give himself comfort was to call for help. The people that he knew that would give him comfort were his friends that had not talked to him for so long. He contacted one friend, saying hello. The boy had kept himself quiet on the matter and just sent a message to the girl, saying how he just wanted to talk. She never responded for quite some time, so he tried to reach out to others. One friend was too busy with her job. Another was going through some tough times due to the loss of a family member. And many others would only ignore him. The boy seemed that he was at an impasse until he got a message back from the friend he sent a message to earlier. Though he had said hello, and the response was more of the lines of, "What is it that you want?" he quickly just ignored it and went on to asking her if she could spend time with him. She couldn't, quoting that she was busy. He only needed a moment of her time, just some time to not be alone, to have somebody by his side. He decided not to explain and just kept it to himself, just begging for a moment to spend some time with someone. On instinct, he also explained how the past few days had been a nightmare, how he felt like something was coming for him, how he felt that something was coming for him, and what's worse, how every moment he feels that he could possibly be at his last life, his last breath. Out of all this importance, the only thing that this friend of his could say to him was to get help. His face frowned, sadness fell, everything crumbling down before him. He hesitated, wanting to say something, but quickly got off of the device that he talked to them on. He only had one option left. He quickly tried to call his friend, Penelope, and waited for her line to pick up. From the corner of his eyes, he saw his recorder and grabbed it, just to make one final message, to document one last thing in case something were to happen to him. Just as he said those words, he heard crying coming from the hallway. The boy quickly got up and ran to his closet door, shut it tight, and right at the moment, the boy quickly got up and ran to his closet. Right at that moment, he smelled an aroma of perfume. He had no idea where this smell came from, but it caused for his heart to accelerate. His heartbeat pumped so fast, it felt like he was having a heart attack. He tried to take slow, careful breaths, trying to catch himself, but he couldn't move. From head to toe, he felt he was paralyzed. The only thing he could move were just his eyes. From outside, he could hear his phone ringing. With no energy, nor any feeling, he could only wonder if it was Penelope that was calling him. But he can hear in his room that someone was crying and was getting closer and closer to him. And in a split second, he heard the sound of someone smashing something with a huge force on the ground, only seeing a single bright light in a split second from under his door. From there, he saw something come into the closet. He heard the whispers deep in his ear. A woman peering closer and closer to him, saying to him,
I found you.
all that was known was that she walked closer and closer to him, wrapping her arms around him. He couldn't move. He couldn't scream. Only see, smell, and feel. He could smell the strong scent of perfume surround him, look deeply into her hollow eyes, and could only feel her carved out chest, where her heart would connect to his and would press against him, only for him to be found missing the very next day.
They
They say that one's negative emotions draw these spawns closer to them. Whether you hide it or not, any form of negativity can draw them to you. And even if they may not be capable of getting to you immediately, if you keep feeding them what they want, then of course they will want more. And if you are to their satisfaction, they will claim you. Your life feeds them. Your emotions attract them. Your words speak to them. And if you think you can escape from them, well, I'm sorry to say, but you're wrong. You cannot escape from them. They watch you sleep. They gaze at you at night. They keep a close eye on you wherever you go and follow you until the day that you are at your weakest. Accept it, for there is no way out. Anyway, I do believe your time here has come to an end, as well as my story as well. You have been a wonderful guest to join me here in this wonderful place. Go now. I wouldn't want for you to stay here after midnight. You wouldn't want to be stuck here forever. A question? Have they ever found the boy? There are some things during the night that are best left unanswered than to give assumptions. What is my name? I am simply your simple storyteller guru. And you are a persistent guest. You may call me Gabriel. And you should leave before you are brought to the unknown. Oh, and one last thing. Happy Halloween.